This is why you need to know the legend of Kaelen, the warrior destined to face the Demon King in a battle that would shape the fate of Eldoria. In the ancient kingdom of Eldoria, Kaelen, the Silver Blade, roamed the lands, battling shadows and ancient forces. His name echoed in every village, whispered with both admiration and fear. Yet a prophecy loomed over him, a prophecy of his downfall in the final battle against the unstoppable Demon King, Malgorath. Kaelen was not just a warrior, he was a beacon of hope for the people of Eldoria. His journey began in the humble village of Thalor, where he was raised by a blacksmith who taught him the art of forging and wielding a blade. From a young age, Kaelen showed an extraordinary talent for combat, and his skills only grew as he trained under the tutelage of the kingdom's finest warriors. As he grew older, Kaelen's reputation spread far and wide. He became known as the Silver Blade, a title earned not just for his skill with a sword, but for the silver streaks in his hair, a mark of his celestial heritage. The people of Eldoria looked to him as their protector, their champion against the darkness that threatened their land. But Kaelen was not without his own fears and doubts. The prophecy of his downfall weighed heavily on his mind, a constant reminder of the fate that awaited him. He knew that his final battle with Malgorath would be the ultimate test of his strength and resolve. One fateful night, the skies darkened and the earth trembled. Malgorath had risen once again, his army of nightmarish creatures sweeping across the land. The people of Eldoria turned to Kaelen, hoping he would rise to the challenge once more. The night was filled with terror as the demon army descended upon the villages, leaving destruction in their wake. Fires raged, and the cries of the innocent echoed through the night. Kaelen knew that he could not stand by and watch his people suffer. He gathered his closest allies, a group of brave warriors who had fought by his side in countless battles. Among them were Arik, a skilled archer with eyes like a hawk, Leora, a sorceress whose magic could bend the elements to her will, and Thorn, a giant of a man whose strength was unmatched. Together they formed a formidable force, ready to face the darkness head-on. Gathering an army of brave warriors, sorcerers, and mythical creatures, Kaelen marched toward the Demon King's fortress. The air was thick with tension. Kaelen knew this battle would be his last. As they marched, the ground seemed to tremble beneath their feet, and the sky above was a swirling mass of dark clouds. The fortress of Malgorath loomed in the distance, a dark and foreboding structure that seemed to pulse with malevolent energy. The journey to the fortress was fraught with danger. The demon army was relentless, and Kaelen and his allies faced countless battles along the way. Each victory came at a cost, and the toll of the war weighed heavily on their hearts. But they pressed on, driven by the knowledge that the fate of Eldoria rested on their shoulders. As they neared the fortress, Kaelen took a moment to address his army. "We stand on the brink of destiny," he said, his voice strong and unwavering. "The battle ahead will be our greatest challenge, but we fight not just for ourselves, but for the future of Eldoria. Remember the faces of those we fight to protect, and let their hope give us strength." As the battle commenced, Kaelen fought valiantly, his silver blade shining brighter than the stars. He reached the throne room where Malgorath awaited. Their swords clashed with such force that the earth beneath them cracked. The battle was fierce and unrelenting. Kaelen's blade moved with a speed and precision that seemed almost otherworldly, cutting through the ranks of the demon army with ease. His allies fought with equal ferocity, their combined strength a testament to their unbreakable bond. As they fought their way through the fortress, Kaelen could feel the weight of the prophecy bearing down on him. He knew that this was the moment he had been preparing for his entire life. When he finally reached the throne room, he found Malgorath waiting for him, a dark and imposing figure shrouded in shadows. The Demon King's eyes glowed with a malevolent light, and his presence seemed to suck the very life from the air. "So the Silver Blade has come to meet his fate," Malgorath sneered, his voice a low, rumbling growl. "You are a fool to think you can defeat me." Kaelen's grip tightened on his sword. "I fight not for myself, but for the people of Eldoria," he replied, his voice steady and resolute. "Your reign of terror ends here." With a roar, Malgorath lunged at Kaelen, and their swords met with a clash that sent shockwaves through the room. The battle that followed was a whirlwind of steel and magic, each strike a test of their strength and will. With a final, desperate cry, Kaelen summoned the power of his celestial blood. His sword burned with a brilliant light as he drove it into Malgarath's heart. The Demon King crumbled to dust, but Kaelen, worn and broken, could no longer hold on. The power of Kaelen's celestial blood surged through him, filling him with a strength he had never known. His sword glowed with a radiant light, and with a final mighty effort he drove it into Malgarath's heart. The Demon King let out a roar of agony as his body began to disintegrate, crumbling to dust before Kaelen's eyes. The battle was won, but the cost was great. Kaelen could feel his strength leaving him, his body battered and broken from the fight. He fell to his knees, his vision fading as darkness closed in around him. In his final moments he thought of the people of Eldoria, and a sense of peace washed over him. He had fulfilled his destiny, and the kingdom was safe. Kaelen's final words echoed through the ages. "I have given everything so that you may live. Cherish the peace, for it is fragile." And with that the silver blade fell silent. As Kaelen lay on the battlefield, his allies gathered around him, their faces etched with grief. They had fought bravely by his side, and now they mourned the loss of their leader and friend. Kaelen's final words were a reminder of the true cost of peace, a message that would be passed down through generations. "I have given everything so that you may live," he whispered, his voice barely audible. "Cherish the peace, for it is fragile." With those words, Kaelen's eyes closed and the silver blade fell silent. The battle was over, but the memory of Kaelen's sacrifice would live on in the hearts of those who had fought alongside him. The people of Eldoria wept for their fallen hero, but they honored his memory by rebuilding their world. Kaelen's legacy lived on, not in songs of victory, but in the hearts of those who remembered the true cost of peace. The people of Eldoria mourned the loss of their hero, but they did not let their grief consume them. Instead, they honored Kaelen's memory by rebuilding their world, piece by piece. Villages that had been destroyed by the demon army were restored, and the people worked together to create a brighter future. A statue of Kaelen was erected in the center of Thalor, a symbol of his bravery and sacrifice. It stood as a reminder of the hero who had given everything to protect his people. But Kaelen's legacy was not just in the stone and metal of the statue. It lived on in the hearts of those who had known him, in the stories they told their children, and in the lessons they had learned from his sacrifice. The people of Eldoria understood that peace was fragile, and they vowed to cherish and protect it, just as Kaelen had done. And so the legend of Kaelen the Silver Blade lived on, a testament to the power of courage, sacrifice, and the enduring strength of the human spirit.